What's up, guys? I have a question to ask you because I believe in questions. I love questions because it digs into the answer, right? Like every time you ask a question and you get the answer, there's another layer. Because once you get that answer, you want to know why you got that answer. So then there's another layer to why that answer is. Why is my life a mess? That's a question. And then you can take inventory as to why it's a mess. What comes up in your mind, in your heart? It's because of my you put your shortcomings down. You put your character defects down. You put, any outbursts that come up in your, if it's drugs, if it's alcohol, if it's bad relationships, whatever it is. I believe that we can make sense out of life. And when we make sense out of life, life becomes a lot more fruitful and better for each and every one of us. But if you don't make sense out of where you're at in life, you can't be rooted. You'll be just floating. And anybody that's floating is not grounded. And anybody that's not grounded, they can be easily manipulated by not just feelings, but by decisions, choices, and other people. Just imagine, take this as an example. You know how bullies operate? Bullies operate by picking on somebody that they think that they're stronger than. So they pick on them. They get their reaction and they laugh. So they poke them, they make fun of them. The other person reacts by getting annoyed, mad, sad, crying, and all that. And the bully gets off on that. It's fuel to them. They like it, they enjoy it. So then, because they found something, they continue on until that person shows no more reaction in that area. When the person shows no more reaction is usually when they become callous in that area and they don't care about the name calling. They don't care about the poking anymore, right? It doesn't bother them, it doesn't bug them, and so then the bully says, moving on, let's try something else. This doesn't work anymore. That's how the devil operates. The devil looks for weaknesses, temptations, anything wherever you're weak at, he pokes and he attacks you there. As long as you don't fortify that area, and it's up to you. God is on your side. He's your best friend. He sticks closer than a brother. He's always trying to get you out of problems, but until you get the understanding that you play a vital role in not walking on that broad street that leads to destruction, until you see the signs, the yield, the merge, the stop, the red lights, until you find that, my life is not working to my advantage and I hate where I keep ending up. Until you get to that area, you won't take inventory, you won't try to make sense. Fun is an illusion. Fun and entertainment and pleasure, it keeps you space-headed. Everything is fantasy. And as long as you're living in space, the rules of reality don't apply. And in reality, there's laws. So I'm not just talking about laws that have to do with the police. I'm talking about laws of nature, gravity, and stuff like that. People lose their life because they're living in La La Land, and they do stupid things thinking that there won't be repercussions. How many people do you know that have, done something and broken a leg or broken a bone and this and that? Is because they're living in a space where it's not applied to Earth. In their mind, they're watching too much cartoons. They're watching too many superhero movies. Then they try to take that and apply it to Earth, and it doesn't work, does it? Right? I believe I can fly until you fall. Right? Now, life itself will show you a lot of lessons along the way. And every time you get hurt, scuffed up, bruised up, and everything like that, every time that happens to you, it's almost like an acknowledgement, a check mark on the box saying, this ain't a good idea. It just isn't. But people, they learn slow, so they keep doing it, getting the same results. And they never stop and think, I'm the problem. It's always that needs to budge, that needs to be more flexible, that needs to work, that needs to fit into this. It's like getting a triangle and trying to make it fit in a shape that it doesn't fit. Nobody has to, and it's that stubbornness, that stiff-neck, and that rebelliousness that keeps that person continuing. The only one that is laughing is the devil, being the bully in that scenario, feeding you like those symptoms of, no, make it work, it's got to work. Never dawned on the person and said, let me switch up my strategy, let me change up the way I'm looking at this, perceiving it, perception. Let me go for another shape, let me try something new. And so, you know, there's a lot of nuggets in this video already, but it's meant to be applied. It's meant for you to take a good hard look at yourself, right? And we all have to do this. Every human being on the face of the planet, any successful human being that you see that is successful and is walking and it has a life, that when you see it, when you value somebody else's life, trust me, man, it didn't happen by accident. They didn't just wake up and have those things. They worked, first and foremost, they worked for it. But apart from working for it, you can't keep anything, that you can't sustain it, you can't keep it unless your character is built up to sustain it. So you can get, like, what are the statistics for lottery winners? You know, they lose all their money in a matter of time. And it doesn't take very long. And they're back to being in the same position that they were, sometimes even worse. And you ask yourself, man, but you won the lottery, you won millions of dollars. Why are you broke again? And everybody loves to judge. Everybody loves to point a finger and mock and scoff and say, you're so stupid. You know, had I had the money, I would have, you know, for sure, you know, that's it. I would be made. But if your character is not right, if what you value is not right, then you're going to purchase a lot of stuff with that money that your character says, I want drugs, or I want this, or I want party, or I want sex, or I want this. And all your money's going to go to that, because nothing is anchoring you down to say, I'm gonna be wise with this. Okay? And only because you say, no, I'll invest it, doesn't necessarily mean that the investment will be wise in and of itself. There's many business deals that go south that don't follow through. You know, like, yeah, the mindset of, oh, I invested. But, you know, even that takes a good, wise brain to help you navigate through all of the obstacles that will be thrown at you once you get to that place of investing. If you deal with somebody that's sour, somebody that's a con man, well, your investment just got jacked. And that happens a lot. So, okay, we're talking about getting rooted, getting grounded, taking inventory, building a house on rock rather than sand, as Jesus put it. A tree that is rooted, you know, trees that are rooted, storms come and they don't easily get pulled up out of the ground because the roots sustain them, right? And I believe in this. I believe in being rooted. The roots is what, not only what it's where you gather up all your nourishment from. Jesus said that he's the cornerstone, the foundation of which our house is built upon. And so where people mostly go wrong is they don't think about stuff. They take it at face value and that's it. They don't dig. And when Jesus said meditate on his word day and night, it means to think about it. What does this really mean? How deep can this go? So the foundation, the cornerstone being Jesus Christ, what does that mean? Is there nothing more than just at face value what it says it means? Well, if you dig, you'll see, well, what does Jesus represent? Righteousness, holiness, purity, authority, power, strength, right? All of this, lordship. And so when he's saying that he's the foundation that your house is built upon, and if that's the case, then no storm will take you over, because when storms come, it's basically he's saying that because of him, you're going to be all right. Because your intelligence, your wisdom, your understanding, your strength, your knowledge, your direction, everything that derives from choices and decisions, and everything comes from him, because he's the foundation you stand on. So whenever you find yourself in a crossroad, you go to him and you say, I'm at a crossroad, I need direction, I need help here. And because of that, you're not going to be a house that crashes in a storm. So you saw how much we extracted in just a small amount of time from that one verse. The whole Bible is full of that. The whole Bible is full of verses that you got to break down and really think about. What does that mean? And how does it apply to me? And then when you do that with your character, and when you ask yourself the questions, because I really believe in asking yourself questions. And just like I said in the beginning of the video, the more questions you ask yourself, the deeper you get to the revelation of the roots. And if you're believing the wrong things, it will branch out from your character. It'll bear fruit from your character. The reason why God chose faith as kind of like the vine that we live from, faith and belief, is because we're made up of our beliefs. Every action, every decision, every thought process, everything we say, right? It's in our heart, it's in our mind, is because we purchased it. We bought into it. Why did we buy it? Because somewhere along the way, we looked at it, we acknowledged it, and we purchased it as the truth. And so that truth is our belief system. And so whenever we are challenged in any type of way, our belief system rises up to answer that question, whether right or wrong. But you'll know whether your belief system is right or wrong through the fruit that it bears. And so you'll be able to say, well, I'm believing the wrong thing because this fruit right here yields the wrong results. And I don't want to yield these results anymore. I'm believing the wrong thing somewhere along the way. So then that's when you take inventory, and that's when you process, and that's when you take a good hard look at what it is that you do on a daily basis and ask yourself why you do those things. So if you smoke, if you drink, if you do drugs, why do I do this? Besides it being a habit, why? Oh, it's to calm myself down because I have anxiety. Okay, why? And the more you ask yourself why, you'll find yourself in a place of, oh, it's because this happened to me once upon a time, a trauma and this and that. Okay, I got to deal with this. Okay, so Jesus, come into this area. I need you to come into this area, right? And heal me in this area, right? So then when you're well on the inside, when you're healed on the inside, when you're healthy on the inside, the substances that are toxins won't feel right to you anymore. So now instead of the smoke and inhaling and all of that, instead of it feeling good, it'll feel putrid to you. It'll be like, man, get this away from me. I don't want to smoke, man. I don't like the smell. I don't like the taste. I don't want to be around that. Because you're healthy on the inside, and anything that's unhealthy doesn't apply. You don't want anything to do with it. So your belief system now has shifted and changed. And that's what's reacting to what once upon a time was the answer. Now it's no longer the answer. Now it's the problem. And you acknowledged it through revisiting yourself in terms of, like the Bible says, take inventory. Take inventory to see if you're even in the faith. So many people deceive themselves and they say that they're in the faith, that Jesus is Lord. But Jesus posed the question of, why do you call me Lord and you don't do what I say? Now that's a stinger. That stings, right? But we got to take inventory. We got to see if we're that person. If we are that person, we don't leave it the same way. We acknowledge it, we repent, and now we need to like do that type of process where like, how can I get better? How can I do better? How can I be better? Right? Because in my heart, I want Jesus to be Lord. But in my life, I don't act like he's Lord. And so there's a divide here. There's a bridge that needs to be gapped here. Now, where is it that it's because I want to be in control. It's because I'm not yielding. It's because I'm not submitting. It's because I don't trust. It's because, underneath a lot, I may have some resentments or this or that. Okay, that needs to get dealt with. In prayer, in the closet, in the secret place, that needs to get dealt with. It doesn't leave until you deal with it. And it will leave if you deal with it. It all goes back to your belief system. If you think No, it's going to take too long. It's going to be too hard. No, it's too painful. All of that is a belief system. And according to your belief system, right, you're going to be healthy or you're not. And it all yields fruit. So then, if you're not happy with the fruit that it's bearing, you got to change the belief about that territory. In short, to end this video, we got to take a good hard look at ourselves. We got to stop running from ourselves. We got to stop running and stop distracting ourselves and stop numbing ourselves and stop, going to other sources so that we don't think about all of our problems and this and that. Well, we got to deal with these things. We got to throw out the trash. Now, thanks be to God that He's with us to help us, that we're not on our own. But it takes that. It takes us, it takes courage to do it, You have not because you ask not. And so ask God, help you on these areas. Right? But then after you ask, one of the most powerful things you can do is get a paper, a notepad, and a pen and start writing things down. That's a start. That's a beginning. That's a step one. Write things down. The things that will come out of you, you didn't even know were in you. You had no idea. But the more you write things down about the way you feel, about anything that comes up, man, makes sense out of your life. Why do you keep doing what you're doing? Ask questions. Get answers. Dig deeper. And eventually you'll get to the root. When you get to the root, pray about it. And bring that up to God. And say, Jesus, I found the root of why I do what I do. I'm ready to uproot this and plant a seed that comes from heaven in its place, so that the right tree bears the right fruit. A good tree can't bear bad fruit, and a bad tree can't bear good fruit. And you'll know them by their fruit. With that, we'll end this video. God bless you. And it's time to get to work.